But now let's take your plant and garden questions. Linda Barcz from the Barcz Company is here taking your calls at 270-9933. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Mark.
A great way to start the new year with a new plant. How's that?
That's a good way to look at it, yes. And I brought a number of things that have really pretty colorful leaves. This prayer plant, that's a little bit more challenging. We were talking before we came on the air. That's one that's a little bit harder to grow. This calathea is just gorgeous because it's got very shiny two-tone leaves.
It is pretty.
And then I've got a Gloxinia, and begonias are pretty easy to grow. And then I brought,
What is this thing down here?
In honor of New Year's, this is the lucky bean, and it's sort of grown as a bonsai. But it would be a tropical plant that you would keep in.
What are these things?
Well, those are the seed pods that it grew out of.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look at that.
Pretty.
It is pretty. All right, let's get to the phones. We'll get to your calls. We'll start with Christy in Deansville.
Hi. Do you have a list of long blooming perennials that do good in Wisconsin for both a partial sun and shade?
Sure. I think that, I don't know if you want me to list off some of the ones that come to my mind right away. There's one called catmint that is very tolerant, and it's pretty diverse as far as where it will bloom, and it has it blooms for a long time, and it tolerates tough conditions. There's another one that it's called Hot Lips Turtlehead. I love that name, but it's a plant that's outside of my office, and I finally got to watch how it performs. And once it starts to bloom, it keeps moving up the stem, so it flowers for a long time. It's a real pretty lavender color flower, and it blooms at a time of the year when not a lot of the other things are blooming.
Hot Lips.
Hot Lips Turtlehead.
Hot Lips Turtlehead. All right. Let's go to, let's go to Terry in Madison. Hi, Terry.
Hi.
Hi, which question? You there?
Oh, yes. I have a peace lily that's about 4 years old.
Yeah.
And it's showing yellow patches on the leaves, and it's not blooming, and it just looks blah.
Looks blah. Okay. Well, peace lilies, perhaps, depending upon how well it's been growing during that time, you may have to repot it. I wouldn't suggest that at this time of the year. But the other thing I would suggest that you do is pick off the leaves that aren't looking nice. That always detracts from a plant. If they're brown or if they're turning yellow, just cut those off all the way to the base and give it some good light this time of the year, because during the summer months, that's one that will tolerate quite a bit of shade. But we have such short days and so little sunlight this time of year. You can put it in a little bit more sun, and then if you check the rooting condition in February or March, you could repot it and upsize it.
Okay, let's go to Lucille in Wanakee. Hi, Lucille.
Hi.
Hi.
How do you trim back a jade plant?
Well, jade plants, it's just like pruning on any plant that you have outside. You go back to a bud or where it is branching. In fact, I have a client that I stopped at her home, and she had gorgeous, huge jade plants. And I said, how do you do this? I mean, the trunk on hers is like this.
Really?
Yes, it's like a little baby tree. And she said what she does is she pinches it back all the time. And so it stays denser that way. And then what will happen is in the summertime, if you have a good spot to move it outside, that plant really responds to going outside. And then you have to bring it back in before danger of frost.
I've killed more jade plants. I'm on the most wanted list in the jade plant family. Let's go to Pat in Sun Prairie. Hi, Pat. What's your question?
Hi. I have a I'll just spell it. Kalanchoe.
Yes. Kalanchoe.
Right. And it was overwatered when I was on vacation. I know it's a succulent, and I'm wondering if I can just cut it back dramatically and let it go again.
Well, what I would suggest is any of the leaves that are not looking healthy, since it's a succulent, hopefully the roots have not rotted. Maybe what you want to do before you waste a lot of time is pull it out of the pot and break off anything that doesn't look healthy, and just keep it down to the core part of the root system that's healthy. So that means that you may actually downsize it into a smaller pot, and then just watch your watering. Yeah. Most likely that will bounce back.
This is tough time of year for plants, though.
Yes, it is. Those succulents especially.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're out of time. If you're on the line, stay there. Linda will take your call off the air. We will see you next week.
Okay.